Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. Granit Xhaka to Leverkusen is a done deal. Arsenal have completed a deal with Leverkusen worth 21.5 million euros for the sale of Granit Xhaka. One down, a couple of other players are going to be leaving as well, including Nicola Pepe, including Balogun, and Eddie Nketiah as well. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. We're going to be diving into the Granit Xhaka story at Arsenal, your thoughts, my opinions, and of course some more players that will be leaving the club as well. Now, the big question I want to ask you in the comment box below: do you think Granit Xhaka leaves Arsenal in good light, right? I think in 2019, he did throw Arsenal's, jersey down, stepped on it. I think it was after the Crystal Palace game, and he was really frustrated. Arsenal fans were really frustrated, but since then, Granit Xhaka has turned his career around. He's really turned his, game around. He's played much better. He's been a much better person. He's been a much better player under Mikel Arteta. And so for me, have you forgiven him? Are you okay with Xhaka now that he leaves? Does he live in great light with the Arsenal fan base? Hit the like button. Let's get this one to 500 likes. Now, Arsenal have agreed a deal with Leverkusen, according to TalkSport. Granit Xhaka is very close to completing a move. 21.5 million pounds, actually, not euros, but million pounds from Arsenal to Leverkusen. TalkSport sources have actually indicated. Now, the more information I get, this is a deal that was agreed since May. According to Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal and Leverkusen had already agreed that Xhaka will be joining the German side. It was all about finding a replacement. It was all about Arsenal finding a player who can replace Xhaka. And this also means, by the way, before we get into any details of this one, it means that the Rice deal is almost 99% done, because for Arsenal to sanction this move, and I said this on Sunday, for Arsenal to sanction a move for Granit Xhaka away from the Emirates Stadium, it means that we either have a replacement or we are very sure that we will sign a replacement for the Swiss international. Now, it means Rice is on the edge. Of course, we have also signed Kai Havertz to play in that position, but it means that Arsenal are now very, very confident and very solidly, sure they will get the signing of Declan Rice over the edge. Now, let's dive into the Granit Xhaka story. So since May, he's told Arsenal and he's said his farewells and goodbyes to the club. The players are back in training. I've seen Leandro Trossard. I've seen Gabriel Jesus as well. Now, I'm not really sure if Xhaka will train with Arsenal for one more time or at least two more times. I'm not really sure about that. But of course, you know how Mikel Arteta loves him. You know he's a real Mikel Arteta boy. Like, if there is a player that Mikel Arteta has loved all his life at Arsenal, we could say Hexa Bellerin, but there is also that case for Granit Xhaka as well. So Xhaka, a deal was in place with Leverkusen since May. Leverkusen did send in their proposal to Arsenal, and they said, if you're gonna let him go, if you're letting Xhaka go, we are definitely going to sign him on a 4-year deal. And in my opinion, if you're Xhaka, you definitely take that deal. You definitely go with that deal. 4 years. When you're 30, that means that his deal will expire when he's 34. That is time when, look, he's strong as a player. And if he goes to Germany, I could see him play until 36, 37. But at 34, your career is coming into the evening days. And I'm not really surprised that Mikel Arteta, however much he loves him, however much he appreciates him as a player, he has decided to go with his principle over the love he has for Granit Xhaka. He's decided to go because I'm building a young side, because I'm building a consistent group of players with a certain, with certain traits and in a certain age group. I can let Partey go and I can let Granit Xhaka go, despite the fact that I love them very much and they've been a very key, important part of our midfield. Definitely, you can let them go. Now, these are my points on the Granit Xhaka, story. And this is what I think about Xhaka leaving Arsenal finally. The first thing is that he has paid his debt to the Arsenal fan base, to the Arsenal fans, and to all the Arsenal stakeholders. I think if Xhaka left in 2019, it would have been such a horrendous ending to the story. It would have been such a traumatic ending to the story of Granit Xhaka and Arsenal. He came in 2000, I think 15, 16. He was loved as a player. We really, really, we anticipated a lot. And for me personally, I always, envisioned Xhaka and Mesut Ozil in the same midfield, because Xhaka having that ability to defend as a player, he would push Mesut Ozil further forward in advanced areas, and Mesut Ozil would become a much better player. And indeed, Mesut Ozil did become a much better player when we signed Granit Xhaka. So, but in 2019, that is where the problem came, right? He, under Unai Emery, was one of the players that disgusted the Arsenal fans. He was our captain, and he did something absolutely despicable, absolutely unacceptable in the culture of a club like Arsenal. When you step on the jersey of Arsenal Football Club, when you throw it down, right, because you've been substituted and everything is the mess, and you're the captain and you lose it in such a way, I think many Arsenal fans didn't forgive him, and many Arsenal fans are right not to forgive him. But personally, I think he lives in positive light. He's paid his debt. Last campaign, he was one of the players that didn't get up to 5 yellow cards. He was one of the players who actually didn't get a red card, despite the fact that Arsenal didn't get red cards last season. But can you imagine that Xhaka didn't get a red card? Xhaka, of course, there were a few moments where he did fight, right? There were a few moments where he was pushing players on the pitch and things like that. But that is part of the game. That is part of football. But Xhaka did not cause problems for Arsenal. Actually, I would argue, and you would argue as well, that Xhaka last season was one of our most important players. Xhaka last season was one of our most consistent players and most consistent performers, in the side. 7 goals, 7 assists. Those are 14 goal contributions in last season. He absolutely did very, very well. So for me, he lives in green line. He lives in green line. He's cleared his image, right? I don't expect a lot of hate when he leaves. I don't expect a lot of celebrations when he leaves. Actually, he has drawn a line between the fan base. And for Granit Xhaka to do that in a positive way, it is something we never expected. He has drawn a line between fans who think he should stay, he's valuable, and of course he is valuable. Leader, pedigree, one of the longest serving players at the club. You want to keep him. But then he's also drawn a line, and the other side, you have fans who feel like, yeah, he's done very well, but he should leave now, right? It's time for Granit Xhaka to go. Right. I think he will always be proud as an Arsenal player, and I've written this one. He will always be proud, and he will be proud because when he goes at Leverkusen, before he finishes his contract, before the 4 years expire at Leverkusen, Arsenal will have won something. And it's so hard, it's so hurting that he won't be part of that, that team that enjoys the fruits that they have sown with Mikel Arteta. Because to be honest, the team that started all this included Xhaka, Partey, Gabriel Magalhaes, Leno in goal, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Lacazette. That is the team that started the process that we're seeing. And then the upgrade that happened last summer, the likes of Odegaard signing on a permanent deal, the likes of players like Benjamin White and all that. It's just hurting that Xhaka won't be here when we go all the way to win the UCL, when we go all the way to win the EPL. But I know he will always be proud. He will always be proud, and he could have won the EPL in my opinion. He could have won the EPL because last season we gave away the trophy. However much we are told that Manchester City were relentless, Manchester City had a lot of quality, but to be honest, we did somehow give away the trophy. If Arsenal didn't slip up, if Arsenal didn't perform to levels that no one expected for us to perform that poorly, I think I think we would have won the trophy. Like, to be honest, okay. So have we replaced Granit Xhaka well? In my opinion, we have done. Declan Rice plays in that position. Kai Havertz plays in that position as well. It is a role that Mikel Arteta has created for a goal-scoring player who's technically able, a player who is very, very talented and gifted. And I think Kai Havertz should play there or Declan Rice. So we've replaced him well, and we wish him all the best. Granit Xhaka leaves Arsenal. Hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comment box below.